Saving lives is not considered a top priority to most, but what if you were told you could help save a life by volunteering services or goods to the American Red Cross? Or you could save up to 3 people's lives in roughly 12 minutes by giving a pint of blood. Would that change your mind? The American Red Cross is a way for people to give back to the communities that are in need and help other people. It's a great organization to get involved with and become part of because it's been such an important part of America, as it's an essential part of our nation's response to war, natural disaster, and other human sufferings. They provide by providing help and support for our military families, disaster relief programs, life-saving blood, and health and safety classes. The partnership of the Red Cross and our military began in the Spanish-American War when Clara Barton led a group of nurses to care for American soldiers on the battlefield. Today they deploy staff and serve along the military in the Middle East to supporting our veterans and families back home. For our families back home, they provide emergency communication services, financial assistance, and deployment services. For veterans, American Red Cross volunteers in the VAs and military hospitals, and they help the veterans find benefits from the military services page. All of these services, from serving alongside to providing assistance back home from families and veterans, have made the partnership between the American Red Cross stronger than ever. The American Red Cross responds to 70,000 natural and man-made disasters. They can range from hurricanes to fires, floods and earthquakes, and tornadoes, hazardous spills, transportation accidents, and explosions, all from the American Red Cross Association website. They respond by emergency vehicles, and these vehicles respond by roaming around the disaster areas, handing out food, water, and relief supplies and information, and they're also there to care for people. They set up overnight shelters, and this is a safe place to stay with a hot meal and access to support from trained volunteers. They provide relief items. These come in comfort kits, which contain deodorant, toothbrushes, shampoo, tarps, rakes, shovels, and trash bags to help clean their homes. It's usually passed out in emergency response vehicles or in an easy-to-access location. All of these require volunteers. They need them to drive and pass out kits or stay in the shelters. Another way to provide help is to donate to the American Red Cross so they can continue to provide these services. Also, they would bring in health and mental contacts to provide first aid, monitor the well-being of people, and replace prescription medicines and glasses. One of the most well-known services of the American Red Cross is their blood donations. It is the nation's largest blood collection organization, supplying approximately 40% of the blood and blood products used in our country. They have 5.6 million blood donations each year by 3.3 million blood donors from the American Red Cross website. Blood is always needed. After all, blood transfusions are the most common transplant in the U.S., with a patient in the U.S. needing blood every 2 seconds, and more than 41,000 blood donations are needed every day by Dr. Aaron. With such a large demand for blood donation, knowing the simplicity of donating blood, I would encourage that more people get involved in giving blood. It's usually only about an hour or an hour and a half to complete the entire process, which involves you checking in, getting tested to make sure you're healthy enough to give the blood, and then the actual giving of the blood. And plus, you get food afterwards. That's a bonus. But you can also save 3 lives with just 1 donation, as well as you can donate every 8 weeks. So That means you could donate up to 6 times a year. And if you donate 6 times a year, that's a whopping 18 lives you just saved in 1 year. The American Red Cross also trains and prepares people. They offer first aid and CPR classes for health professionals and even citizens. They provide lifeguarding classes and babysitting and caregiving classes. And they also provide training for emergency planning and preparation. This would be for your fires, your house fires and tornado drills, things like that. So in conclusion, the American Red Cross is vital to America as it's become essential to our military, any natural disasters, blood donations, and safety classes. With all these services, we need more volunteers to perform and meet all the demands, but with your help, we can make a difference. As Charles Bukowski says, you begin saving the world by saving one person at a time. All else is romanticism and politics. So start saving lives one life at a time by supporting our American Red Crosses.